how's it hanging? Welcome to my take on the vinyl 22 tag. Now, I've never done this before, and I only just found out about it, to be perfectly honest, this morning. So what happens is people who collect records pick out some albums related to questions that are posed. And so it turns out this year on January 1st, a guy named, I think it was Rob Walker, introduced a series of questions. And you can consider that sort of the alpha variant. And then a guy named Stunty, a short while later, posted some other questions. And I think there's a bit of a mix-up between the two. But in any case, so his questions are sort of the delta variant even. And another guy named Mazzy has sort of combined the two variants into his own Omicron version of the tag. So I'm going to follow his questions because that seems to be the most recent variant. So the first question is, favorite album purchased in 2021? As you've probably noticed, it's Steve Gunn, Other You. And I love all of his albums. This is the third one of his that I bought upon release. Great, singer, songwriter, guitarist, folk rock thing. He's got his own thing going on, his own style, and each album is better than the last. Love it. So, show the record you spent the most on in 2021. Now, I didn't really spend a lot on any particular albums this year. No, it's just maybe slightly more than like a single record that you purchase at a store. But this is the 50th anniversary remaster, limited edition of Jesus Christ Superstar. And in and of itself, it wasn't that expensive. I bought it from the US. I'm here in Canada. And so American price, if you're in the States buying it, that's pretty reasonable. But by the time I paid for the exchange rate, shipping, and duty, it was more than I would have otherwise paid for it. But still, it's nice to have. This was one of those important albums to me growing up. It was sort of my gateway to rock, if you will. So glad to have this. So, album by the first person you saw live. That stuff is lost in the haze to me. The first rock concert that I recall going to as a teenager was Def Leppard. I don't have any of that stuff. That's just not my bag. I don't have any of that in my collection. And then, later, I've seen many good shows over the years, but the first one that really blew my mind away, that's what I'm picked for this record, were the Sadies. I saw them, it must be 10 or 12 years ago, here at the Marquee here in Halifax, and it was like a gross winter night, just like, I don't know if you're familiar with Halifax weather, but winter weather is just shitty. It's not like you go west and they have like feet of snow and it's 40 below. It's just like slightly below or above freezing here, and it's damp and it's chilly and it's just gross. Anyway, so we were in this smallish sort of club, maybe 500 people, maybe, and it was just jam-packed, it was hot and sweaty, and you had the Sadies playing, and they are just it was the most rock and roll show I've ever been to. And there was even a guy who streaked, and like nobody should streak, but there are certain people who should, like even less so. And this guy was probably the last person in the club who should have been streaking. But it was great. The band didn't miss a beat. And it's just an amazing show. This is one of my favorite albums from the Sadies. Favorite colors. So. Show a record from a brand new band or artist you got into in 2021. So I had never heard of the Black Pumas. I was doing some searching on YouTube. So that's how I'll go down rabbit holes to find new music, and it's usually on YouTube. And Curtis Harding is one of my favorite sort of soul R&B singers, period. And I think this is just this band was sort of came up as a recommended video in the stream, and so I checked them out and I really liked it. And this is a great album. So there you go. Album in the Shrink. Now I know this is probably meant to be fully sealed. I don't have any fully sealed albums when I play them as soon as I buy them. And but this one, as you can see, I have to take out the plastic. I'm glad I went through this exercise because the shrink is warping it. This is Rupert Hine. The album's fine because I don't. Anyway, Unfinished Picture, Rupert Hine, and I think this is his second album, and I think it was his first self-produced record. An amazing producer, and because I think Roger Glover produced his first one, and this followed that. And this is probably on, I don't know if this version, but it was probably on Purple Records at the time of release. Anyway, really good record. Concept album, Nigel Lived by Murray Head. And this is a great sort of audiophile pressing that I got. And yeah, it's, yeah. Show a record you love, but that you haven't given much love to of late. Jonathan Wilson, Rare Birds. There's a lot of albums I love that I just don't get back to. And this is one of them. I'm going to have to play it today, in fact. Rare Birds. I love it. I just haven't played it a lot recently. So, really good stuff. I like all of his albums. Now for the live album, Professor Longhair, The Last Mardi Gras. What can you say? Professor Longhair, right? Album from a different continent, a little bit of Georges Ben. This is a really fun record. I love that Brazilian pop rock music from the 70s. It's just amazing stuff. And this is just an amazing album. And okay, so after this, the most out of your comfort zone record you got in the past year. Now I have a pretty broad comfort zone. It would have to be pretty avant or modern pop for me to not really want to listen to it. And I mean beyond, like, I got a bunch of Beefheart and stuff. That's cool, but it'd have to be like beyond that, or something on a typical sort of top 40 thing wouldn't be my bag. So I didn't buy any of that stuff this year. Now I do have a stack of records that I'm going to give to the record store. They sell them for charity. It's this. The Association Greatest Hits. It's all completely subjective, and I apologize. Well, I don't really apologize because it's just my taste. But there's no excuse for this group. It's complete fucking garbage, and I hate this record. It is beyond my comfort zone. I don't like it. Punk or new wave record? Martha and the Muffins, Metro Music. Classic Toronto band. Come on. Really good stuff. Echo Park's probably the song that most people would be familiar with. Great record. Jazz album, Charles Mingus the Clown. Any Mingus album is great. That style, the hard bop stuff, is just his unique style. It's just amazing. I could listen to it day in, day out. And he was really the first jazz artist that I got into that sort of expanded my horizons musically. Growing up, you'd hear like big band, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller, that kind of stuff. But Mingus is Mingus. Soundtrack. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. One of my favorite movies, and this is an amazing soundtrack. Growing up, when I was a toddler, I had one of those Fisher-Price wind-up radios, and it played Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. So I've had a soft spot for that song my entire life. But this is great. I gotta take the shrink wrap off of this too. But my favorite song by far on this is South American Getaway. Love it. Great stuff. Now, this is the album with no writing on the jacket. Now, I'm not being very picky about this because there is, well, you know, it's like King Crimson, but you have the lyrics inside, but, you know, on the front and back and spine, no text. That's good enough for me. I could have dug a little deeper, but I had spent an hour picking this stuff out already. I didn't want to spend any more time. Colored vinyl. Now, Griff Rhys, Seeking New Gods. This is amazing. An amazing, oh geez, yeah. Really, really good record if you haven't checked it out. And this has, it's not the most exciting. Again, I had other colored vinyl, but this is the one that just popped up in front of me. This is like a green vinyl to go with the green on the packaging. Sort of your favorite Pride dig of 2021. Now, Pearls Before Swine, One Nation Underground. And I didn't really go to the record store in person a lot this year. I would order stuff online and pick it up. And then I ordered albums online through Discogs and other sellers. This one, I found late in the year. I went to the Googs and typed in Pearls Before Swine, vinyl, Canada. And sure enough, there was one copy of this on Amazon. And so I ordered it. I think there's a record store that went out of business in Sarnia, Ontario, back in September. And it looks like they're selling their old stock on Amazon. Anyway, so I got this it was like for 31 bucks, steal. And this is, I think it's a 2009 pressing. Limited edition, hand numbered, 594 out of 1,000. So it's never going to be like one of the top numbers in that run. But still, it's a great album, and I was really pleased to get it. Show a record from a band from the past that you totally bypassed until recently. Now, it's odd that a guy my age who didn't get at least become familiar with Sabbath. Now, growing up as a teenager, I did have, I think, the Paranoid album on cassette. But that's sort of what I identified with Sabbath. The first couple albums had doomy kind of stuff, and I'm not going to get into why I don't like it. It just didn't resonate with me. And so this year on Sabbath has started putting out like a bunch of, super deluxe reissues, and I've been doing a really good job of getting new pressings out. And so I just started checking out some of the reviews and listening to the music, and I really got into them this year. I think from volume 4 on, I think up to Born Again, that's the period that I enjoy most. And I'm really looking forward to a remix of Born Again with that glorious cover. But anyway, yeah, so this is Heaven and Hell. The first one with Ronnie James Dio. Great album. So the box set I'm going to show, I've had this for a few years. It came out in 2014, so it's more than a couple of years. And it's Made in Japan. One of the best rock and roll live albums, period. And during this tour, Deep Purple of Japan in 1972, they recorded 3 shows, and they called sort of the best performances from those shows and put them together in Made in Japan. And so this box set came out, and it's like 9 records. I won't pull it all up, but you have like nice little book, and you've got 3 different 3-disc shows. And it's like 6 or 7 hours of music. It's ridiculous, amazing, and it's really interesting to hear how each song is performed differently each night. And as a side note, I think the performance of Highway Star on Made in Japan is, for me, the single greatest performance of the rock and roll era. That is just an amazing, amazing performance. It's just so good. It's almost falling apart, the energy, but it swings hard and it cooks, and it's just five musicians each going off in their own direction, but held together by the rhythm. Amazing. Show your favorite, coolest cover art of 2021 or that you got that year. So, I got this album early in 2021, and Pentangle, Basket of Light, classic album, amazing stuff. And objectively, I understand, I can recognize that this is not the greatest album cover art in any year, but I really like it. You sort of have the Royal Albert Hall below, it looks like, and the stage with the band up on top. And I don't know, there's just something about it. You've got the lights that are kind of glittery, you've got the band, and you kind of get. This also reminds me of the Muppet Show, maybe that's why I like it. But really good record, and I enjoy that album cover. So, show a record you got as a present or VCLT in 2021. Well, I'm not really a member of the vinyl community, I guess. Not yet, in any case. But, and it's just my wife and I. If there's something we want, we'll buy it. So, towards the end of this past year, I gifted myself Crazy Horse. Amazing album. I didn't have it, and now I do. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm hoping to do more, participate more in the community. It's pretty fun. I've got a bit of time on my hands, and keeps me out of my wife's hair. So take care and have a good day.